guys, how are you all doing? So I thought I'd come today just to talk about natural hair terms. Now I know you're probably thinking, why do a video about that? But you won't believe how many abbreviations and natural hair terms there are, which to be honest with you, when I started my natural hair journey, I had no idea as to some of the words. Like for example, once I'd cut my hair, and even that has its own term. Somebody asked me and said to me, what a nice TWA you have. And I was like, what? The wavy afro, too wet. Honestly, I had no idea what I was talking about. So I'm here to just debunk some of these words. I hope it'll be useful for those who are just starting their journey, and also for those who have been on the journey for a while. I've been natural for 4 to 5 years now. 5 years now. And some of these words I still haven't heard of until now. So I have done an extensive list, which is in the description bar below, and you can check that out if you want. And if there's any words that you know that I haven't mentioned, please write them down in the comments below. Now I've broken this down into 4 categories. So the categories are to do with hair length, products, styling and hair treatment, and then the final one is hair methods, techniques, and anything that's miscellaneous to do with natural hair tones. Okay, category 1, hair length. So I'll start with the beginning. So there's APL, this stands for armpit length hair. This is when your hair grows and is armpit length. Mine used to be and a bit longer than that, but I cut my hair. BAA, and this stands for big ass afro. BSB, which is between shoulder blades or below the shoulder blade. BSL, which is bra strap length, and this is where usually people measure their hair from the back and pull it down, and if it's up to your bra strap, then that's the length that you have. CBL, which is collarbone length. I think I'm past there. We've got some collarbone length going on. Neck length, which is NL. NLV, which is non-length victory. Personally, I don't really think that's the best description for that word. I think it's new length victory. So when you have some new growth and you get so excited, you're like, oh, you've gone past a certain point due to goals. I think that's your NLV. MBL, which is mid-back length. SL, which is shoulder length. The infamous TWA, which is teeny weeny afro. So that's when your hair is at a shorter length, and yeah, it's just described as a TWA. WSL. God, please, one day, this is waist length. I hope one day I have long hair, but I will accept whatever happens as long as my hair is healthy. Okay, so the next category that we're going to look at is products. We have ACV, which is apple cider vinegar rinse, or apple cider vinegar, which is the product. And this is really good because it helps to seal the cuticle, and it really helps to keep your hair, all the moisture inside your hair. EO stands for essential oil. Now the essential oil doesn't really help to moisturize your hair, but it does give good, a good essence, a good smell to your products that you may be mixing together. Also, I find that peppermint oil is brilliant because it does invigorate your scalp and it smells great. EVCO, extra virgin coconut oil, and this oil is really good for detangling. It's good for when you've done a twist out, that you can use it to untangle the twist or untwist your hair, and stops you having frizz, and it's really good in deep conditioning. EVO, which is EVOO, which is extra virgin olive oil. Right, it's really good for natural hair, so have that as one of the essentials in your hair regimen. JBCO, now this is Jamaican black castor oil. This is probably one of the most amazing castor oils out there, which is really good for hair growth. Now, slip is used to describe when a product is put in your hair and your hair feels quite smooth. So yeah, that's what slip is. Now, this is one that we don't like. Sodium lauryl sulfate, or SLS. These are products which are put into your shampoos. Usually this helps with the lavering. The problem with it is that it's really drying on natural hair, and that's why a lot of people who are natural tend not to actually use shampoo in their hair regimen a lot of the time, and instead will opt for conditioners. HG, which I've never heard of, which is holy grail. I think that's when you find a method that works for your hair and basically you stick to it. Carrier oil. Now a carrier oil is some of the oils that I've described before, which is like your coconut oil, your extra virgin olive oil, your jojoba. Is it jojoba oil, or is it jojoba? If someone knows how to pronounce that word, please someone tell me how to say it. And these are the main like staple oils that are good for your hair regimen. Humectants. Now humectants are products that basically help to trap moisture in your hair. Some of these are like glycerol, I think that, what else have they said? Sorbitol, honey, propylene glycerol, basically glycerol. They basically help to trap the moisture in your hair. What I will say about them is that I have tried a humectant before. It's really good in the summer months when there's a lot more moisture in the hair, so the hair will be trapping the moisture. However, in winter, if you use a humectant, the air outside is a lot more colder. So what happens is actually the moisture goes into the environment, and sometimes I find personally that your hair gets a lot more drier with these. So be careful when you use it. Just know that you need to, if you're going to use it in winter, have your hair covered or in a protective styling. The next is henna. Now henna is a natural dye and it's really good for deep conditioning hair. Obviously it's a dye, so it will help to give your hair that luster again and give it a shine and everything like that. But it is natural, and some people mix it into their conditioner, some people put it on directly mixed in with water. It usually is a powder, so then it will be, you will be required to mix it in with water or some other ingredients, and from that you can then make your conditioner, or you can make your hair dye, whatever you feel you want to do with henna. Leave-in conditioner. Now leave-in conditioners are a quick way of putting moisture back in the hair. Some people will spray it in the morning and in the night, and it really is a great way of just quickly re-adding conditioning agents or making your hair moisturized again. So now on to styling and hair treatment. Number 3, cones. What are cones? These are a short way of saying silicones. Now silicones are ingredients found in hair care products that are not water soluble. Usually they are found in your shampoo. So if you don't wash out cones from your hair or silicones from your hair, it builds up and basically you get a residue over your hair, and then your hair starts to get dry and brittle, and it's really not good. So if you do buy a shampoo, try and look at the back in the ingredients and see that it doesn't have silicones or cones, and also SLS, which is that sodium lauryl sulfate. A co-wash is when you wash your hair but with conditioner, which is the co part. Creamy crack. Now I know it's not the best thing to be saying, but creamy crack is when you use a relaxer. It's the other name for relaxer. I know it's not nice, but that's what it is. And the reason why I think it's called creamy crack is because once you're relaxed and you start getting new growth, anyway, this is my experience, when you get the new growth, if you get new growth, you get very irritated with it, so you want to put the new relaxer so that your hair is nice and smooth again. Maybe that's why it's called creamy crack, but that's what it is. A DT or a DC is a deep treatment or a deep condition, and this is when you put conditioner, a special conditioner, in your hair and you leave it on for a longer period of time. And some people will do it at night and sleep with the conditioner, obviously with their hair cap on, and then the next morning rinse it out and then do all their further styling treatment. So flat twists. Flat twists are when you take your hair and then you twist it to the scalp. So if you know what a cornrow is, which is basically plaits onto the scalp, this is almost the same thing, except you're twisting. So you're only using 2 strands and then you're picking up hair from within that section. I have a video, I think, which shows me flat twisting my hair, so you can check that out to see how to do that. A fro is obviously this, an afro, which is a short term that people use for this. The frohawk is basically a mohawk but with an afro, but it's all an illusion. It's just to do with how you pin your hair up. No poo. Okay, I know the word sounds so weird, but basically it's using no shampoo in your hair regime. Pre-poo. Pre-pooing is basically to add oils and make sure that the hair is well treated before you do shampoo, because as I've said before, shampoos can be quite drying. Poo, as I've said, is shampoo. Pony puff is basically, it's like a ponytail, except the end of the hair is not going to be flowing like a horse's mane. It's basically, you have your hair in a ponytail but with a puffy afro at the end. So protective styling. This is any style that can be done to prevent hair breakage. So you might have your hair in braids, although be careful with braids and make sure that it's not too tight. You can have your hair under a wig as long as it's in cornrows or in flat twists or whatever way. You can style your hair so that it's not rubbing the back of your neck. Any style that prevents any extra breakage is called a protective style. Sealing. This is when you have your hair washed, you've treated it with moisturizer, and then you put a cream on top or some sort of product which will help to maintain or keep the moisture or water, which is the main thing, inside your hair. A TNC. This is a twist and curl. This is basically where you twist your hair and then you add a roller or flexi rod to the end of the hair, and this is great so that when you have a style, the ends will be quite defined and they will get a very nice curl pattern. A wash and go. Now a wash and go is basically when you wash your hair and you go. You wash your hair, you have normally your curl pattern will pop out when you've washed your hair. So you do that and then you add a styling product. Normally some people put, I've seen a lot of people usually put Eco Styler, or if you know how to make your own flaxseed gel, you could put that in and you just add it into your hair, and then make sure you did this on towel dried hair, and then you just basically, that's your style for the day. I personally don't like doing it because my hair is really coarse. It will look so pretty, but at the end of the day it's really hard for me to detangle. Clarifying is when you want to take all products out of your hair, and this is basically when you use a shampoo or some product that will strip the hair of all the debris, all the build up and everything, and just make sure that your hair is totally clean. This process is going to be slightly drying, so make sure you've got moisturizers or creams or products that will be able to re-add the moisture and lock in the moisture back into your hair. Number 4, which is hair methods, techniques, and anything miscellaneous to do with natural hair. So second day hair. Actually I have first day hair at the moment. So basically it's when you've done a style, you know, you've undone your hair, you had a twist out, you had something else, and then you decided that you can't be bothered. Okay, it's not really can't be bothered, but you feel, you know what, I'll just sleep, put a cover over it, I won't retwist it, and we'll see how it goes. Or you can retwist it but not as intensely as you did before, or however you manage to do your hairstyle, so that when you have it you can then release it the next day, or it just fluff it the next day. Some people can get to 3rd, 4th day hair and the style won't have disappeared. BC. I know, personally I first thought it meant before Christ, but apparently not. In natural hair terms it means the big chop, and this is when you decide, I'm strong enough to cut all of these relaxed ends off, and when you do, you cut your hair off, your hair will be slightly shorter and it will not have any product, so it's just basically removing all the relaxer product out of your hair, or the relaxed ends out of your hair. Banding. Banding is a method used to help stretch your hair, so you might use a African thread, or you might use some other techniques basically, or you know, flexi rods, anything that will be used to try and stretch your hair out. If I've got any of these wrong, please just let me know, but this is just a stretching method. Bantu knots, I've done a video about this as well. It's basically when you twist your hair, or you can have it just untwisted. I prefer to twist my hair and then do the Bantu knot. but you just take your hair and then you tie your hair round a point so that you have loads of different bantu knots basically over your head. So there's loads of twisted points on your hair, different sections. Once it's done, you can either decide to leave it like that if you like that style, or you can have a bantu twist out, which is the next point when you do release it, and you have a very curly pattern, which is really pretty. And I'll leave some pictures for you to see what that looks like. A braid out is the same thing almost. You just braid your hair, or plaits as some people call it, and when you've done that, then you release it out maybe after a couple of days. When you release your hair, you will have a slightly different pattern. It comes out more zigzag, but some people really like this style. Braid and curl, which is a B and C. So this is basically when you braid your hair, so you do a plait or plait, however it's said, and then you curl the ends. BSS is your beauty supply breakage. Breakage is when your hair breaks, but not from the root. It breaks from the ends, and this is usually due to split ends, or it could be due to, you know, health issues or other things, and it really means that there's a lot of wear and tear on your hair, and your hair is breaking at uneven points around your hair. The BKT, which is a Brazilian keratin treatment. Again, this is a new method that I've never heard of before, but I thought I'd explain it. So again, I'm going to just read it out for you. It's a chemical blowout treatment used to temporarily smooth and straighten natural textured hair. There are many different systems for it, but it's not recommended for those who wish to retain their natural curl pattern. Basically, once you do this, you will lose your curl pattern. So you will wash your hair. Normally when naturals wash their hair, even if you've done it, like you've blown it out or something, it will revert back to its natural curl pattern. But if you use the BKT system, your curls will come back, but they won't be as tight as they were before, and some people really don't like that result. Coils is just basically a way of, it's like shingling except for longer hair. You just basically, you know, twist your hair around your finger, and then you kind of get a very tight kind of coily pattern, and it's really pretty. The cuticle is the thinnest layer of our hair, and it's the bit that is around the edge. If your cuticle is not sealed, or is basically fraying, this is when your hair starts to look dry and brittle. So what you want is to have your hair moisturized so the cuticle can be sealed. It basically protects the cortex from chemical. Dusting. Now dusting is totally different to cutting your hair. Dusting is when you decide that your ends are not looking as great. You know, when I talk about a situation where the ends are a little bit thinner, this is just to remove that. So you normally take about 1/4 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch of your hair, and you just cut, you know, little bits of your hair. And this is really good in a way that it helps your curl pattern to be popping. So if you do a style, it will look more defined, because when you have your ends looking a little bit frayed, the style might not come out as great. HHJ. This is the healthy hair journey, and this is basically what every natural should want to have, that their hair is healthy before having length. The main thing is to have your healthy hair. A bit like outfit of the day, we have HOTD, which is hair of the day. And basically I think that's when we just celebrate that our hair style was popping, it was looking on point. And then you normally, you know, I'm a bit of a selfie. That's what I'm talking about. This is basically when you celebrate your hair for that day, and you let people know about it. Now there's the hair typing system, and this goes from number 1 to number 4. 1 being the smoothest and 4 being the most kinky curly hair. I am a 4C, and this system was created by Andre Walker, I believe, and it basically helps to describe your hair. We are all HIHs. A HIH is someone who cannot keep their hand out their hair. You know, you're always sprucing, you're always, you know, you need to touch that hair, you need to feel it. You know, it's okay. You'll do it. But But the problem is that if you keep doing it a lot, it kind of will lead to sort of breakage, because your hand's always in there, and then you might get a tangle, you might get a knot or something, and then you're like forced to pull it out, and I don't know. That's basically your hand is always in your hair. So then there's locks, and there's another type of system which are called sister locks. I'm pretty sure you saw some of the controversy which had to do with locks recently in the news. Locks is where sections of hair are twisted over some time, and then they're kept together. Now some people can have faux locks, which is what the girl had in the news recently, the actress, and they basically are a way of making it look like locks, and they are kept in for a long time. Or if you have real locks, that's when, as I said, it's locked in for some time, and usually some people can use beeswax, or there's other methods, and you can keep it for quite a long period of time, and your hair will grow with your hair with the locks inside. Line of demarcation. This is the line between your relaxed hair and your natural hair, and this like small space is obviously microscopic, we can't see it, but this area is so weak, and so if you don't treat your hair well, and you've got this kind of two textures between your hair, what happens is that you need to be looking after it, because if not, you could get breakage at that very point between the two textures. Low manipulation. Low manipulation is basically not touching your hair too much, having your hair in protective styling. It's basically a way to stop your hair from breaking overtly due to you doing the HIH, and touching your hair and, you know, messing about with it, and also not trying to pull your hair so tight. It's just do a style and leave your hair as it is. Moisturizing. This is when you add products that without washing your hair, and not that you haven't washed your hair, but it's, you know, done while your hair is dry, and it just helps to keep and lock in moisture in your hair. Pineappling is a method done where you've done a straightening method, you've blown it out or something, but you want to maintain this for a few days, because our natural hair has the tendency to revert back, especially at night if we get hot and stuff. So you take your hair and you will stretch it round, and you go round and round and round, and then you keep it in, and you maybe put a pin there, then you put a cloth over your hair over the night, and then the next day when you undo it by going, oh sorry about that, my camera basically decided to go to sleep. So I have got the final 4 things just to talk about natural hair turn. Transitioning is basically when you're not quite ready to remove all the relaxer from your hair, and then you just let your hair grow with the 2 textures of hair. So be careful then, because your hair is going to be quite fragile. As I said, there will be the line of demarcation between the relaxed ends and the natural roots. Just be careful, let your hair be moisturized, put it in protective styling, and your hair will start to grow very well. After some time, if you decide, then you can do the big chop, which is advisable. Your hair will start to get brittle, and then you can start growing your hair fully free of relaxer. Nappyversary. So the nappyversary is basically, or nattyversary, is basically when you celebrate milestones for how long you've been natural. So for example, I'd like to say happy 1 year anniversary, nattyversary to my friend Mercy, whose hair has been natural for 1 year on the 15th of February. PJ. PJ does not stand for pajamas, it stands for product junkie. Oh my goodness, this was me at the beginning. Because I'd gone natural and I had no idea as to really what I was doing, I basically bought every product that was available for my hair. I was like getting my keratin, getting my conditioners, getting everything, and then I realized after some time, one, my hair is protein sensitive and it really can't take that much protein. So yeah, it's the time when you buy a lot of product. And the final one is shrinkage. Shrinkage sometimes is the natural girl, natural guy's worst nightmare, because your hair recoils so tight that it doesn't look like it has any length at all. And this usually you see after you wash your hair. Your hair will seem, at first with the weight of the water, will seem really long, and then after some time, once it starts to dry up, your hair starts to go back up and recoil, and it's a bit annoying. I hope this was useful for you, and that it has debunked some of your natural hair terms that you just had no idea about. If you know any more words, please leave it in the description bar below, because I personally need to learn a lot more things about my own hair. Anyway, have a great day and thank you so much for listening. Please comment,